Having enjoyed the dubious charms of provisional and ad interim governments, Texians greatly anticipated a regular government, one with elected representatives responsive to the will of the people. They viewed the September election as the first real manifestation of independence from Mexico. In addition to the election of officials, voters were to consider two other issues. Voters deliberated the question of granting authority to Congress to amend the Constitution, the one just 6 months old. Voters also weighed in on the issue of annexation to the United States. This last question was a straw poll, an unofficial ballot conducted as a test of opinion. A slate of candidates quickly appeared. Henry Smith's friends placed the former governor's name in contention. It appeared that they did so in an effort to hide his activities under the provisional government. Even so, many could remember his tenure and the disasters it had wrought. Many mentioned William H. Wharton as a possible candidate, but he insisted he had no interest in running. His supporters tried to put Thomas J. Rusk forward, but he would not hear of it. Branch T. Archer consented to have his name placed in the mix, but his heart was never in it. His was never a serious candidacy. One could not say that of Stephen F. Austin. The old impresario who had done so much to shape the destiny of Texas made it clear that he remained eager to steer the ship of state. Notwithstanding his many services, however, a black cloud hung over his bid for office. In the eyes of many voters, his long association with his business partner and land speculator, Samuel May Williams, had sullied his public standing. Others charged that he had abandoned Texas during the Revolution and fled to safety. Hardly fair in the light of all the good service he had provided as an agent. One misinformed critic insisted that Austin had done nothing in the United States but
eat fine dinners and drink wine.
Despite all of the abuse, Austin explained his motive for standing for office to Thomas J. Rusk.
I have consented to this for only one reason, which is that I believe I can be of material service in procuring the annexation of Texas to the United States, should the people here wish it, as I have no doubt they do.
One candidate was prominent in his absence. In the wake of the almost miraculous victory at San Jacinto, Sam Houston was easily the most popular person in Texas, but he remained in New Orleans, recovering from the serious ankle wound that he had received on April 21st. Many predicted he would never recover. Moreover, the general had expressed no interest in throwing his hat into the ring. Austin emerged as the only significant contender. Unusually, party loyalties played no part in the race. The Declaration of Independence in March and victory at San Jacinto in April had rendered the old war and peace parties entirely irrelevant. Before the war, Austin and Wharton were bitter rivals. Yet, when Austin became an advocate of independence, the source of their antagonism vanished. Working together as agents, the former adversaries actually became fast friends. As events unfolded, the rapprochement between Austin and Wharton greatly influenced the tenor of Texas politics. But then, Sam Houston surprised Austin as much as he had Santana. A mere 11 days before the balloting, he entered the race. Historians still contemplate his change of heart. They know he had written to Rusk, who had assured him of his support. It is unlikely, however, that Rusk's patronage in and of itself would have convinced Houston to run. On the first Monday in September, Texians turned out to cast their ballots in record numbers. In the returns, old Sam Jacinto polled 5,119 votes, 77%, to 743, 13%, for Smith, and 587, 10%, for Austin. Austin must have felt humiliated. Smith had formally withdrawn from the race, but he still garnered more votes than the impresario. Archer received a few votes here and there, but not enough to mention or matter. Austin's era had passed. President-elect Houston sought unity. In an effort to achieve it, he appointed Austin as Secretary of State and Smith as Secretary of the Treasury. Mirabeau B. Lamar won the post of Vice President with little opposition. Thomas J. Rusk received placement as Secretary of War. James Pinckney Henderson served as Attorney General, while Rhodes Fisher won appointment as Secretary of the Navy. Texians ratified the Constitution, but denied Congress the power to amend it. These were people who were highly suspicious of government, even one of their own. As far as the straw poll regarding the question of U.S. annexation, voters approved the notion 3,277 to 91. What a difference a year made. Had the election taken place in September 1835 instead of September 1836, Austin would have won in a landslide. Yet in the interim, he had been gone from Texas, performing yeoman service as an agent. He had led no glorious charges astride a white stallion. It was a classic case of out of sight, out of mind. While he lamented the outcome, Burnett well understood the reason for Houston's victory.
General Houston is beyond all question the president-elect. He has beat my worthy friend Austin, the pioneer of pioneers in Texas, as much as the splendor of military fame, no matter how acquired, excels the mild luster and meditative and intellectual worth.
The Constitution stipulated that the victor of September's election would not assume the executive office until December. On October 3rd, ad interim President Burnett, now a lame duck, called the first session of the Texas Congress to order in Columbia. On October 9th, President-elect Houston arrived at the session. Congressmen coerced Burnett to resign so that Houston might immediately take the reins. Bowing to the pressure, Burnett agreed to resign on October 22nd. The following day, interim Vice President Lorenzo de Zavala also submitted his resignation. Elias Rector's tarnished razor now shaved the chin of a president of a republic. Likely, Sam Houston never doubted that it would.